Moments away from kickoff at Paul Brown Stadium. Beautiful day. Temperature 64 degrees. Light winds. Picture perfect for football. The Browns won the toss. They have deferred under Hugh Jackson returning to Cincinnati. He told us last night this is just two old friends looking to kick each other's butt. That's who he's referring to right there, Marvin Lewis, who he coached with for 7 seasons with the Bengals. Marvin now in his 14th year on the Cincinnati sideline. Cody Parkey will kick it away for the Browns. And Alex Erickson, the rookie, back deep for the Bengals. And this will be a touchback. Cincinnati will start at the 25-yard line. Andy Dalton coming off the loss last week at New England, where he had 1 touchdown, no interceptions. He also ran for a touchdown. He's won 3 straight against the Browns, and he's thrown for 6 total touchdowns in those last 3. Over the last 3, Cincinnati has outscored Cleveland 98-13. 3 blowouts in the Battle of Ohio. And how about this formation to start for Cincinnati? Dalton, quick pass. A.J. Green in space. A.J. Green across the 35, and he's got a Cincinnati first down. A gain of 11 for A.J. Green, his 43rd catch of the year. That leads the NFL.
Well, you saw right there, as Andrew pointed out, the flexed out offensive lineman. There was only a guard on either side of the center. They flexed out blockers in front of receivers, both sides. A good creative way for Ken Zampese to start this game off.
Jeremy Hill at running back on first down. It's play action. Dalton right back to A.J. Green. And Green is wrestled down as we take a look at the starting lineups for the Cincinnati Bengals. And starting at right tackle is Cedric Ogbuehi, although he was benched for a portion of last week's game at New England. And C.J. Uzomah gets the start at tight end, but Tyler Eifert, as we told you, is active for the first time this year. First handoff today for the Bengals. Jeremy Hill across the 45 has a first down. We have our first flag of the day. Today's referee is Ed Hockley.
Illegal block in the back by the offense, number 18. The 10-yard penalty enforced from the spot of the foul. Repeat second down.
That goes against A.J. Green. As we look at the starting defense for the Cleveland Browns, Danny Shelton had the first sack of his career last week in the loss against Tennessee. Mario Davis really made a big impact for this Browns defense since coming over from the Jets in the offseason. And Tramon Williams will start at corner in place of the injured Joe Hayden.
Yeah, the one good thing about Tramon Williams, a 10-year veteran who's been mentoring all these younger players, so they're used to hearing his voice out on the football field.
Brian Body Calhoun will also see a lot of time. He's matched up with A.J. Green right now. Dalton over the middle, completes it to Hill. He's got the first down into Browns territory and tackled at the 45-yard line by Tramon Williams, a gain of 13.
I don't know what the Cleveland Browns were doing on this play. 2nd and 6 yards, and they flew out of there like it was a 3rd and long play. Gave Andy Dalton a nice, easy throw over the middle. On 2nd down, you give him a running back in front of him with all that room, Andy Dalton will pick you apart.
1st and 10 from the 45. Dalton back to the air, taking a deep shot down the field, and it's incomplete. Body Calhoun on the coverage. Pass was intended for James Wright.
Yeah, this is it. They're going to take a shot. They got a look they like. Wright got some separation, and Body Calhoun does a great job of breaking this pass up. I mean, it could have been maybe a hair better throw, but that's just a great defensive play. No contact. James Wright thought he was going to tip it to himself, but Brian Body Calhoun coming through for the Browns, making a great play down the sidelines.
First incompletion today for Dalton. He goes to the ground with Hill. Has some room up the middle. Jeremy Hill putting the moves on. First down and more. Hill inside the 20, 10, 5, and brought down inside the 5 by Jamar Taylor. A gain of 40 for Jeremy Hill.
This is a Bengals running game that's been pretty stagnant all year, averaging less than 90 yards a game. Right here, though, nothing fancy. Handed it off the right side. The whole offensive line caved down the interior front of the Cleveland Browns, giving Jeremy Hill an easy lane. And then the cut. Look at how big that hole is. You saw right there. Obuehi, the second-year player that's been kind of struggling lately, did a good job right there creating some space for Hill to get up in there, and big run for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Just the second run this season by Cincinnati that went for more than 20 yards. Jeremy Hill told us on Friday we need to get some bigger runs. He delivers on the opening drive for the Bengals. It's Bernard at running back on 1st and goal. They give it to Bernard. Has room and takes it in. Touchdown, Cincinnati. First rushing touchdown this season for Giovanni Bernard, and the Bengals take a 6-0 lead.
Well, that's a run game on the first series of the game that was executed to perfection by the Bengals. Look at the wall of offensive linemen just absolutely getting to the second level. There is nobody free, and finally you see Davis trying to slide off and make that tackle. That offensive line absolutely dominated Cleveland's defensive front on that front opening series. And that is exactly the wrong kind of start for the Cleveland Browns.
Mike Nugent on for the extra point. And what an early statement by the Bengals, getting it done through the air and on the ground. The big hill by run, and Bernard caps it off with the TD. 7-play, 75-yard drive for the Cincinnati Bengals. In the last 2 games, they've led for a total of 1 minute and 6 seconds. And here, early in the first quarter, they take the lead. Nugent kicks it away, and this will be Howard on the return for the Browns. Howard to the 25 and out of bounds right there. And Cleveland will take over on offense for the first time today under Cody Kessler, who's making his 5th consecutive start for the Browns. Last week, a career-high 336 passing yards, but he was sacked 6 times, a career high. And we spoke with Kessler last night. He said the game plan this week, I've got to get the ball out quicker. Even though he had success outside the pocket last week, he's got to get rid of it against this Bengals defense.
Yeah, he may be running even more out of the pocket this week against Carlos Dunlap and Michael Johnson and Geno Atkins. The Bengals can get after the passer, and the Browns are going to have their hands full.
Crowell at running back on 1st down. Up the middle, and Crowell takes it to the 28-yard line. Let's take a look at the Browns offense, and there is a change up front. Alvin Bailey is not starting at left guard. Spencer Drango gets his first start of the year, and Cameron Irving in his 2nd game back after missing time because of a pulmonary contusion. Andrew Hawkins, the former Bengal, now on the other side of the Battle of Ohio. Crowell picked up 2 on 1st. It's 2nd down and 8.
Hey, no. Hey, Ricky.
Empty backfield for Kessler. Pump fakes now on the run and throws and completes it along the far side. That goes to Ricardo Lewis. Drake Kirkpatrick on the cover. It's actually Rashard Higgins who brought it in. As we take a look at the Cincinnati defense, Carlos Dunlap leads the team with 4 sacks. Carlos Dansby, a former Brown, now on the other side of the rivalry, his first year with the Bengals, and Kirkpatrick, who just made that tackle in his 5th year out of Alabama.
Yeah, the 1st-round draft choice in 2012, had a pick last week against Tom Brady. Really having a good, solid year. Opposing quarterbacks their rating only 70.0 against them this year.
3rd down and 6. Kessler fires over the middle, caught for a 1st down. It's the tight end, Gary Barnidge. And Dansby makes the tackle, but the Browns move the chains.
Yeah, in the open we spoke about how Cody Kessler is completing 65% of his passes, and we've seen here he's completed 3 passes right away. This one for the 1st down. Sooner or later they're going to have to go down the football field. Terrell Pryor is not 100%. He's been struggling with a hamstring injury, but they've got to take some shots down the field to get this Bengal defense out from Cody Kessler's face in the pass rush.
Duke Johnson at running back. 1st down and 10. Kessler to Johnson out of the backfield. He is stuffed. Vincent Ray bringing down Johnson.
Yeah, once again, I mean, if You complete too many passes like that, you're going to be punting out of your own end zone. This is a play for negative yardage. But he does the right thing. He's going to get rid of it very quickly, and I think once in a while, they told us, Cody Kessler, they didn't give him too much to do when he first took over, but more and more as the game goes on, they're going to have to ask more and more of him.
Wildcat formation with Kessler on the sideline. It's Kevin Hogan, the backup, keeping it himself, and Hogan slides down at the 47. Kevin Hogan, in his second game as a backup quarterback, slides down his first touch in the NFL.
The free agent rookie out of Stanford. They got two rookie quarterbacks on this roster. Kevin Hogan, not really known as a runner at Stanford, but right there, a nice little wrinkle that the Cincinnati Bengals obviously were not prepared for. Gives them a third and very manageable situation here.
We've seen Pryor in the Wildcat, maybe with the hamstring today. Hugh Jackson doesn't want to do that with Pryor, so it was Hogan in there as Kessler returns for 3rd and 2. 1 on the play clock. Kessler takes the snap. Quick slant, incomplete. Looking for Pryor. Adam Jones on the coverage, and Jackson sends out his punt team.
Yeah, it's just not an accurate throw from Kessler. This is high and away. He's got to bring this down inside. As you see, he's trying to kind of fit it over Pat Sims, and that's a holdup. I mean, you'll see here, this is just, he can't reach up and get that. Sees the pressure coming.
Yeah, he's got to stick it on his body. That's one of those. You got to protect your receiver there.
Can't be high and outside. It's got to be low and inside.
Here's Britton Colquitt punting away to Alex Erickson, who awaits the kick at the 10-yard line. Calls for a fair catch at the 11. There's a flag down back near the line of scrimmage.
Signaling a hold.
Hey, ready, hold on.
Here's Ed Hockley. And it is a hold against the Browns.
Yeah, they're going to enforce the penalty after the kick. You see Marvin Lewis wanting to back them up inside their own 10-yard line to start this next drive.
Holding by the kicking team, number 47. Cincinnati is elected to enforce that penalty from the dead ball spot after the return. They keep the ball, 1st down.
Cincinnati football, when we come back, they lead 7-0.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Progressive. Handing off big savings to you. And by Honda. Great deals are waiting for you at your local Honda dealer.
Beautiful day for a boat ride in Cincinnati. The Bengals lead 7-0 for the Browns. This is their 5th road game in the first 7 weeks of the season. They trail by 7. Jeremy Hill at running back to start this drive for Cincinnati. It's a play action. Dalton on the move, fires and completes it to A.J. Green. He's got a Cincinnati 1st down as we go back to that opening drive, and the Bengals getting it done with a great balance in terms of play selection.
Yeah, they did a really nice job spreading the defense out for the Browns, created some big holes in the running game, 54 yards rushing on the first drive. Finished off with a touchdown by Gio Bernard. And the Bengals come out right away in this next drive looking very sharp again.
Already 3 catches for 33 yards for A.J. Green. Dalton again completes this to Tyler Croft. He is swung down at the 39 by Tracy Howard, who's starting his first NFL game today. He's taking Jordan Poyer's starting spot at free safety. Last week, Jordan Poyer suffered a lacerated kidney. Howard, a corner in college at Miami, but Cleveland making him switch to safety. As Jeremy Hill trying the right side across the 45, and Jeremy Hill has another Cincinnati 1st down.
Hey, one of the things that we saw early on in this game, it's one of the things the Bengals, when you're facing a defense that's very young, as we've been talking about all day, you want to do a lot of things they haven't seen, and you want to do a lot of things that make them communicate and know their assignments cold. And that's one of the ways the Bengals here in the early going are taking advantage of this young defense. It's making them think and making them find guys on the line.
Dalton in incomplete. He was looking for the rookie Tyler Boyd. Be the first to know your team's news with the CBS Sports app. Get instant updates, expert analysis, highlights, and more. Download the CBS Sports app today.
One of the things to look for today, too, usually when these two teams meet, Joe Hayden is locked up on A.J. Green. He's the best corner Cleveland has. He ain't out on the field today. A.J. Green's going to be a big-time target.
Brandon LaFell, the target on this play. Jamar Taylor makes the tackle. It'll be 3rd down and short for Cincinnati. This is an area where the Bengals have struggled this year, contributing to their 2-4 record. They have the 2nd worst 3rd down percentage in the NFL. Only Jacksonville is worse, and there is Joe Hayden, who's missing his 2nd straight game because of a groin injury. It's been Brian Body Calhoun for the most part on A.J. Green so far in this first quarter. 3rd down and 2 for the Bengals. With an empty backfield, Dalton completes it to A.J. Green. This time it was Jamar Taylor on the coverage of Green. Already the 4th reception for the 6th-year wide receiver, and it gives Cincinnati another 1st down.
Well, you talked about the struggle Cincinnati's had offensively on 3rd down. The good thing for them is they're going against a 31st ranked defense on 3rd down as well. So a matchup that's evenly set up, both 31st ranked. That time right there, Cincinnati took advantage.
Only the Detroit Lions have a worse 3rd down defense than the Cleveland Browns.
18!
1st and 10. Dalton has all day and just has to throw it away.
One of the things we've spoken about with this Bengals offense that has not measured up to where it was a year ago, there's a couple of reasons. One, Hugh Jackson is not their offensive coordinator, and how many times have we seen around the National Football League where a team has an identity, they have a good flow offensively, and you take one of the key ingredients out, that is the guy calling plays. That's one reason. The other reason, their best tight end in the red zone, Tyler Eifert, hasn't been on the field all season. Those two factors give your offense for the Bengals an entirely new identity that they haven't been able to find yet.
Hey, watch it.
5 on the play clock, 2nd down and 10. 5:47 to go first quarter. Dalton to Jeremy Hill. Slips a tackle down the sideline and pushed out by Ibrahim Campbell, but that's another Bengals 1st down. A gain of 11 from Dalton to Hill.
Yeah, this should have been a 2-yard gain. There was a chance to make the tackle right there. You saw Christian Kirksey had the chance to make that tackle for about a 2 or 3 yard gain, but Jeremy Hill, he's a big, strong dude, and he runs through that, makes a nice pickup. 1st down again for the Bengals.
Dalton is 8 of 11 for 73 yards.
18!
Dalton in trouble, and Dalton is sacked. Brought down by Carl Nassib, his 2nd sack of the season.
Yeah, Dalton tried to hang in there, but the Browns did a great job of just absolutely collapsing the pocket. Straight 4-man rush with a delayed blitz down inside by Davis, and he's the one that ends up with the sack. He comes very late along with Nassib, and that's the reason Dalton just felt the pressure. That pocket just, he was like in a whirlpool, just sucked him right down.
They credit the sack to Kirksey. Nassib was also in on the stop, but the full sack goes to Kirksey, which is his 2nd of the year. Dalton looking for Eifert, and it's incomplete. So Tyler Eifert, as we told you earlier, expected to be used in specialized situations, specifically 3rd downs and red zone plays. Had off-season ankle surgery after injuring his ankle in the Pro Bowl, and then a couple of weeks ago injured his back during practice. That's been the latest setback for Eifert.
Well, there's chemistry issues. Anytime a player misses that much time, the quarterback, even though they've had tremendous success, Dalton and Eifert right there, not on the same page. Andy Dalton tried to force one in there, and I think Eifert was maybe expecting a back shoulder on that particular play.
Watch it.
They've now split the sack the Browns just had between Nassib and Kirksey. 3rd and long. Dalton. And that's caught by LaFell, who tripped. And he is short of a first down. Tremont Williams makes the tackle, and Marvin Lewis will send out Mike Nugent.
It's a small victory for the Browns. That sack they got back on first down was really the reason that the Bengals have to settle for a field goal here. There's a 4-point sack that's going to end up helping the Browns and putting the Bengals once again on the short end of the stick in the red zone.
The 20th time that Dalton's been sacked this year, second most in the NFL.
The 10th time on first down, which is very unusual.
A 40-yard attempt for Nugent, and that is no good. First time this year that Nugent has missed inside of 50 yards. So with 3:42 to go in the first quarter, the score remains 7-0 Cincinnati. The Cincinnati Bengals 2016 Hometown Huddle Project was held this past Tuesday at Ryan Memorial Sports Complex. The goal of the project was to create a playground which would include a challenge course as well as fitness equipment. They also resurfaced the basketball court and hand-painted park benches and picnic tables. Marvin Lewis sees Mike Nugent with a rare miss, and it's a 7-0 game, 3:42 to go in the first quarter. Second drive for the Browns. Kessler was 3 of 4 for just 10 yards on the opening drive. On first down, they give it to Crowell, reverses field across the 35. Crowell breaks free to midfield. George Aloka made the tackle, but not before Crowell picks up 21 yards.
When in doubt, go behind your all-pro left tackle, number 73, Joe Thomas. On that play, doing a great job getting some movement, and Crowell hit that hole hard. The Browns' rushing offense has been struggling the last 2 weeks, only 67 total yards. They need to see more of that.
23rd time the Browns have carried for more than 10 yards this season. That's third in the NFL. First and 10 from midfield. Kessler, play action to Crowell out of the backfield. Spins away and takes it to the 40 for another Cleveland first down.
Yeah, Vontaze Burfict missed that tackle, and as we saw what happened to the Browns going the other way with the Bengals missing tackles. Missed tackles are the #1 cause of bad defense in the NFL. Forget schemes, forget effort, forget talent. The team that tackles the best wins, and you've seen already a couple of tackles missed on both these defensive sides of the football.
How about this formation for Cleveland?
Yeah, very similar to what the Bengals did. 2 offensive linemen split out left here.
Johnson in motion. Kessler keeps it himself, and not much doing. It was Burfict who came up to make that tackle. Now, if you listen to the NFL Today, you heard Bill Cowher say that he thinks Burfict should not even be out here right now, that he should be suspended for his actions last week, where it appeared that he may have stepped on LeGarrette Blount and also went low on Martellus Bennett. He was fined $75,000. He is appealing that fine, but no suspension. And Bill Cowher with some very strong opinions earlier today on CBS on the NFL Today, saying Burfict shouldn't be out there as Johnson gets the carry. What do you guys think of the decision not to suspend Burfict this week?
Well, Coach Cowher is not the only one that feels that way. When you see a pattern going on like this, and you talk to the Bengals, they defend Burfict, and they talk about how he's learned his lesson, he's changed, and he's matured, and he's grown up, and then you see what happened last week. He obviously is not getting the message, and I agree with Coach Cowher. At some point, you got to draw your line in the sand and say this is not acceptable anymore.
Third down and 11. Kessler gets rid of it, took a big hit, completes it to Duke Johnson, who has picked up a first down. Cody Kessler took a big shot, but Johnson with 13 yards and a Cleveland first.
Wow, this is a great job by Kessler. Watch the shot he takes. Bang, right there, right in his kisser. Marcus Hunt right up underneath him.
That is one of the most violent hits I've seen on a quarterback in a long time. I'm telling you, to stand in there and take a shot like that as you're stepping into a pass, Hunt had a full head of steam. Believe me, there is nothing that hurts more than that.
Well, listen, after that play, Kessler didn't just get up. He had to climb to his feet. I mean, it took him a minute to get up, and I'll tell you what, You know, if you're standing on the sidelines, and let's believe me, I spent a lot of time standing on the sidelines in games. That picks your team up when you got a young guy or any guy who makes a courageous play like that quarterback just did. Took a shot to the mouth, released it, got a 3rd and long, got his help. Everybody gets picked up when your players that you're counting on come through in situations like that.
Perfect, the injured Bengal. They're looking at him on the sideline. Remember, Kessler injured his ribs against the Patriots a couple weeks ago. Told us last night he's feeling okay. That was a big shot. 1st and 10 with 30 seconds to go in the first quarter. Kessler has time and completes it to Pryor at the 15. Another Cleveland first down.
But we saw the shot that Kessler just took and came back with a nice pass right there. Very impressive bounce back quickly after that shot. Sacked 6 times last week. Took a lot of shots as well. And you know, the point I think that needs to be emphasized here, he's not going to hold up taking those kind of shots.
That's the end of the first quarter. Cincinnati leads, but Cleveland on the move.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by McDonald's. I'm loving it. And by Bud Light. Make the right call. Drink responsibly.
Start of the second quarter at Paul Brown Stadium with Steve Bernal, Steve Tasker, our entire NFL on CBS crew. I'm Andrew Catalan. The Browns driving. And on this drive, Cody Kessler 3 of 3 for 36 yards. The last completion of the first quarter was the first catch by Terrell Pryor. It went for 13. Browns have done a good job in the red zone this year. 12th in the NFL scoring touchdowns at 62%.
And they're going against the Bengals defense is 27th ranked in red zone defense, struggling on both sides of the ball in the red zone.
1st and 10 from the 15. Good protection. Now Kessler rolling out and has to throw it away. It was Geno Atkins that forced Kessler to get rid of that, and that's exactly what Cody Kessler said he had to do more of today compared to last week against Tennessee. Doesn't have time to run around as much today.
That's right. He does the right thing here, too. He heaves this off into the netherworld. He's going to take a sack or a hit or worse and gets rid of it and gives himself a 2nd and 10. It's a smart play. He's still completing a lot of his passes, and that's the kind of play a lot of top draft picks aren't smart enough to make. They think they can do it. He's got a lesson. He's learned that lesson.
It's Crowell up the middle, still on his feet inside the 10. And tackled at the 6. It was Iloka and Maualuga coming up to make the tackle. A gain of 8.
You got a Brown down, one of the offensive linemen struggling to get to his feet.
Crowell appears to be a bit shaken up.
It's Drango down
as
in the knee.
does Drango, who is starting his first game. Crowell comes off the field, and Drango, the rookie, still on a knee. Clock is stopped, 14:39 to go in the first half. Crowell and Drango both a little shaken up on that last play. They'll watch from the Browns sideline for 3rd down and 2. Alvin Bailey comes in at left guard to replace Drango. Duke Johnson at running back. Kessler out of the shotgun. Gives it to Johnson. Trying to get that first down and some pushback at the 5. And I don't think he got it.
Yeah, they got him marked short of the 5-yard line. They had to get to almost the 4 for the first down.
That's a spot where the Browns certainly miss Crowell, the bigger of the two backs between Johnson.
And now they're going to send that field goal unit on, perhaps. Yeah, here they're going to go for 3. Looked like they, from up here it looked like a much closer spot than it ended up being. They're 2 yards short of the first down. I thought it was going to be inches short.
No,
and so did the Browns bench, and they were standing over there thinking they had gotten the first down.
Yeah, that side judge came running in from this side, from our side,
both
short of the 5-yard line.
There's only 3 seconds on the play clock. Browns have to hustle, and they're not going to get it off.
Yeah, it's less than a PAT anyway, so they're not going to worry about that.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty. It's 4th down.
And that comes from the misunderstanding on the Browns sidelines. They thought it was a much better play, much closer. They thought maybe they would measure. It never got to that point, and they got caught standing. Parkey was down there kicking into the net. I mean, he had to run all the way the length of the field to get there to get lined up. So they got caught a little bit napping on that sideline. It cost them the 5 yards.
Preserving the timeout is more important than the 5-yard penalty.
Absolutely. This is nothing.
So a 28-yard field goal attempt for Cody Parkey. He's missed 3 field goals this year. And he's now 8 of 11 on the season. The Browns are on the board. They trail 7-3. Play 60-yard drive for the Browns, culminating with the 28-yard field goal from Cody Parkey. We've got a 7-3 game here in the second quarter. Browns, the only winless team in the NFL, 0-6 to start the year as Parkey kicks it away, and it will be a touchback. Your weekend starts on Thursday when the Jacksonville Jaguars tangle with the Tennessee Titans. You can see it only on NFL Network. Andy Dalton back out, 9 of 13 for 87 yards. So the matchup coming up on Thursday. Tennessee doing a great job running the football this year with DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry. First down and 10 from the 25-yard line. Gio Bernard at running back. It is Bernard who scored the only touchdown of the game, trying to push the pile forward for a couple. Jeremy Hill has been battling a shoulder injury, suffered it against Miami, and only had 50 yards rushing in the last 2 games. He broke off that big run in the first quarter for 40 yards, but still don't get the sense in talking to Hill that he's 100%, and Bernard has taken a lot more carries the last couple games.
And Hill came off the sideline earlier. I noticed after one hit, he came off uncomfortable with that left shoulder.
Bernard is stuffed. That is Christian Kirksey coming up to make the tackle. He leads the Browns coming into the game with 50 tackles on the season.
Well, this is how you play linebacker. You find the run, and then you run up through the gap. The defensive linemen soak up all the blockers. The offensive lineman can't get off onto the linebacker, and Kirksey runs a straight line to Giovanni Bernard, and wow, crushes him for a loss.
That's his 20th tackle of 2 yards or less, the 4th most in the NFL, and it creates 3rd down and 10 for the Bengals. Pressure coming, Dalton pump fakes, now throws on the run and throws it away. Good pressure up front by the Browns, and they force Cincinnati to go 3 and out.
Yeah, and that's a run game for Cincinnati that's just not effective enough. A good little 2-yard run, then a 2-yard loss. And then a big pressure down for the Browns. They get into Dalton's face and force him to throw it away. That's the recipe for success for the Browns, and that's why the Bengals have struggled offensively. They can't get into a 3rd and short.
Duke Johnson back deep as Kevin Huber gets set to punt for the first time today. Johnson at the 26. And runs into his own man, Body Calhoun, at the 30 and brought down there. With 11:59 to go, first half. Browns going back on offense. They trail by 4. Just coming back from commercial, Cody Kessler ran off the field, and the backup, the rookie Kevin Hogan, is back in the huddle. Earlier in the half, he had an 8-yard run. 5th-round draft pick by the Chiefs this year, cut by Kansas City. Signed to Cleveland's practice squad, his 2nd game on the roster. And on the read, he keeps it himself. Hogan to the 45 and a first down for the Browns. Kevin Hogan had 15 rushing touchdowns in his career at Stanford, and he just picks up 15 yards.
Well, one thing the Bengals are doing right is making sure the quarterback keeps it. They don't want the running back, a guy who's really could break it all the way, to get loose, but somebody's got to pick up that quarterback on that option route. And the Bengals tried to walk an 8th guy into the box right before the snap. It was just too late to be effective.
Crowell and Kessler in the backfield as Kessler returns out of the shotgun on 1st and 10. And Kessler completes it to Crowell, and he's brought down at the 48-yard line. What a year it's been in Cleveland, with the Cavaliers winning the NBA Finals for their first title in franchise history, and now it's Indians fever as The Tribe are in the World Series for the first time since 1997. Hugh Jackson said, "We are going to get there as well." I feel very comfortable and confident in saying that. Tuesday night's going to be enormous in Cleveland with the Cavs with their ring ceremony for opening night and the first game of the World Series with the Indians against the Cubs. It's Hogan again. Kevin Hogan across the 40. Kevin Hogan, the change of pace for this Browns offense.
Well, I made the comment earlier, not known for running. You corrected me, Andrew, with the 15 touchdowns at Stanford, but I guarantee you, they did not run the read option at Stanford. You never saw designed runs with Kevin Hogan when he was at Stanford unless they were down near the end zone. But he's running the read option today like he's been doing it his whole life. Pretty impressive.
He's now the Browns' leading rusher with 38 yards on 3 carries. Crowell left side, flag is down. Crowell out of bounds at the 30, forced out by Jones. Let's see what the penalty is.
Yeah, somebody was holding Domata Peko down inside. But you see the Browns coming up with these formations.
Holding offense, number 74. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot.
As Cameron Irvin got called for that hold. You see the Browns doing this stuff with a lot of wildcat. They used, Terrell Pryor in that sometimes, but this team's just trying to win. They got a lot of young players. They're down to their 3rd quarterback. They've had 4 quarterbacks play. They've struggled offensively to get any continuity, so they're just trying to find a way by hook or crook to get points on the board and pull out a win.
First holding penalty this season against Cameron Irving. Kessler, screen pass. It's his fullback, Johnson, on the run. Malcolm Johnson has a Cleveland first down. His former teammate Carlos Dansby makes the tackle. But a big play by Johnson, his 5th catch of the year. It goes for 21.
He doesn't get the ball too often. You said 5th catch of the year. They don't feature him in the run game whatsoever, but called at the right time. A nice little screen pass off the run action, and Malcolm Johnson shows he knows how to execute it and makes a big play, getting down inside the 30-yard line for the Cleveland Browns.
Go! Hey, follow me, hey! Red 80! Hey, hey!
On 1st and 10, Crowell shifts the other direction, putting the moves on at the 15, and smacked down by Sean Williams inside the 15. Another pickup of 12 yards and a Cleveland first down.
Well, Crowell, this is all him. Watch this. You see, whoop, and that's, Marcus Hunt had him dead to rights, except he didn't have him. Crowell does a great job. This play was had right in the backfield, and Isaiah Crowell with the big move in the backfield turns it into a first down. That's a play that helps your football team because that play had no business gaining anything.
Go! Go!
1st and 10 from the 13-yard line. Crowell slips and is tackled for a loss. Well, in the last 2 games combined, the Browns had rushed for 67 yards. So far today, they've rushed for 77 yards. And we asked Hugh Jackson about that last night. He said, look, teams are stacking the box. They're trying to make Cody Kessler as a rookie beat us. It's slowed down our running game, but we got to get back on track. And so far in this half, they have gotten back on track.
We knew coming into this game, we talked about it a lot over the last couple days. Without a run game, this Cincinnati, for the Cleveland Browns, the Cincinnati defense would have feasted on Cody Kessler. Hugh Jackson's got to feel good about it right now.
2nd and 13. Good protection. Kessler on the run. Shovel pass caught by Barnage at the 5. And Barnage is tackled at the 5. And now Kessler is hurt. Cody Kessler slow to get up after that shovel pass.
Yeah, I think he said he's got his ribs nicked up. I mean, that I can relate. That hurts.
And he was moving toward the line of scrimmage. A very dangerous, careless play on his part. I believe it worked out for him.
Yeah, Ed Hockley's going to send him off now.
Yeah, because he took a knee, they had to stop play.
Well, he has to come off anyway, but I think Ed Hockley said he's going off anyway. That's an official could do that if Kessler tried to stay in. But watch. Yeah, and he got hit.
Carlos Dunlap hit him.
But as he goes down, Domata Peko's running by and grazes his head. So there's that as well. Barnage does the great one-handed grab to turn something out of nothing. And Kessler's going to get evaluated.
Yeah, he took the knee, and that had to stop play for him, so he's got to go off. And then if they determine head potential injury, they've got to go into concussion protocol now.
So Kevin Hogan, who has 3 carries for 37 yards, comes in on 3rd and 2. He has not attempted a pass in his NFL career.
Maybe more of the same. They're in the shotgun, maybe a read option again for Kevin Hogan.
Gives it to Crowell, and Isaiah Crowell still turning those legs down to the 1. He's got a Cleveland first down. 1st and goal for the Browns.
Yeah, I'll tell you, this game, for all that's happened, is going exactly the way the Browns wanted it to go. They got their running game going. They're keeping the Bengals off balance defensively with a complex running game, a lot of different options, a lot of things for the Bengals to think about, and they're executing it perfectly. Plus, they're keeping Andy Dalton and A.J. Green on the bench.
Kessler continues to be evaluated. How about the yards this quarter? None for the Bengals, 87 for the Browns. Crowell on 1st and goal from the 1. Takes the handoff up the middle and in. Touchdown Browns. Team leading 4th rushing touchdown this year for Isaiah Crowell. And the Browns have their first lead of the day.
Well, that was way too easy. The Cincinnati faithful here not happy at all. This defense, generally speaking, is a very physical, dominant, run-stopping defense. They have had no answer for the Cleveland Browns today. Way too easy running the football.
And you saw Perfect exchanging words with Malcolm Johnson after that play. Something to keep an eye on.
Excuse me, Andrew. That was great work up front. John Greco, right guard, double teaming on the outside to Carlos Dunlap, coming back inside and getting a piece of Geno Atkins.
Here's Parkey for the extra point, and it's good. With 6:20 to go in the second quarter, Cleveland has taken a 10-7 lead. Isaiah Crowell, his 4th rushing touchdown of the year.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Touch of Gray for that perfect salt and pepper look. Verizon. Welcome to Verizon LTE Advanced, the next-gen network. And by Intel. Upgrade to a new PC with powerful performance.
Back in Cincinnati, the Browns lead 10-7 with 6:20 to go in the second quarter. Parkey kicking it away. And it's Adam Jones on the return. Jones is wrapped up at the 18-yard line. Campbell in on the tackle on special teams. And a moment ago, Cody Kessler leaving the Browns sideline and going into the Cleveland locker room. With NFL Game Pass, replay the games you missed with condensed games in 45 minutes or the full broadcast versions. Get the new midseason offer today at NFL.com/Game Pass. On 1st and 10 for the Bengals, it is Gio Bernard on the carry, taking it close to the 30-yard line, about a half-yard shy of a first down.
Well, the more we see Giovanni Bernard, the more I'm convinced that Jeremy Hill has an issue with that left shoulder. He told us yesterday he felt great, but he has not been in there since he came off nursing it.
Back to Bernard trying to pick up the first down on 2nd and short, and he does. And it's been confirmed that Cody Kessler is being evaluated for a concussion right now in the Browns locker room.
You see Clint Bowling mixing it up with a couple of Browns players there at the end of that. And the Bengals going, I think, a little bit of pace here now, going kind of a muddle huddle. I think that's for no other reason to get a spark, I think, offensively.
A.J. Green at the top of your screen on 1st and 10. Back to Bernard. And Bernard picks up a couple of yards as we approach 5 minutes to go in the second quarter.
You know, I'm really surprised that we have not seen a concerted effort out of Andy Dalton and Ken Zampese to get the ball to A.J. Green. They're getting a lot of single safety on 1st and 2nd down, which is ideally what you want. You got a one-on-one matchup with arguably one of the top 2 wide receivers in the NFL against weak corners that Joe Hayden's not even on the field, Cleveland's best corner, who usually follows A.J. Green around. You got to give him some chances to make plays.
Roddy Calhoun matched up with Green on 2nd and 7. 3 on the play clock. Dalton takes the snap out of the shotgun. Over the middle, diving catch is made into Cleveland territory. Brandon LaFell picks up 21.
Now this is just an all 4 up the seam. Dalton picks his side, and when you get that safety on the outside, the receiver will break it into the middle of the field. Dalton sees it the same way the receiver does. And as the Bengals try to go no huddle, the Browns take a quick timeout.
No, Hugh Jackson appears to have thrown the red challenge flag because he thinks that pass was incomplete.
On the field that the pass was complete.
That's why the Bengals ran to the line, trying to get the snap off as quickly as possible.
You know what? That may be something Hugh Jackson recognizes from his days here. That's a signal he saw. He may not win that challenge.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Auto Trader. Find your perfect new, used, or certified car on Auto Trader.
The ruling on the field stands as called. Although the receiver did bobble the ball, there is nothing that shows the loose ball ever hit the ground. Therefore, the ruling stands. First down.
Hugh Jackson now 0 for 2 on challenges this year, and we were looking at a lot of these replays in the commercial break, and as Ed Hockley just said, there wasn't one that showed definitively that the ball was out. So the call on the field stands. LaFell has 3 catches for 39 yards.
Yeah, if you could had an angle where you could see the ball hit the ground before he had control of it, no doubt it would be worth reviewing. But right there, nothing clear.
So first down and 10. Dalton looking for LaFell. He's wide open. He's got it and kicks it in, but there's a flag down. And it's possible this is coming back. This could be against Brandon LaFell.
I think they're calling it against the defense. They had a collision at the top of the route. Like, it could go either way, but I really felt like it was the defensive player impeding the offensive player.
Yeah, Jamar Taylor was in coverage, and he's walking towards the goal line. He thinks it's going to go against him.
Right here is Jamar Taylor.
Illegal contact, number 22 of the defense. A penalty is declined. Touchdown.
No question about it on the replay. Brandon LaFell with his team-leading 4th touchdown catch of the year. A 44-yard score, and Dalton and the Bengals go back on top.
Well, if they are indeed calling it on the coverage on LaFell, it was Jamar Taylor. It was not Tramon Williams.
So here is Mike Nugent for the extra point. He missed a 40-yard field goal earlier in the half. And the extra point is good. For Brandon LaFell, 4 of his last 9 catches have been touchdowns, and the Bengals pull back in front. It's 14-10. 7th touchdown pass this year for Andy Dalton, the 4th to Brandon LaFell.
Well, you're going to see right here, there's LaFell, and he's going to make the double move where he comes up and then little break, and that's what caused Taylor to bite. Taylor did a good job trying to impede LaFell to try, and he knew he was beat. But I give credit to Andy Dalton for putting that nice touch. Sometimes when a receiver's wide open like that, it's the toughest throw to make. Dalton put a nice, soft, catchable ball out there. LaFell finishes it off with a big touchdown.
Nugent kicks it away with Atkinson and Lewis back deep. And it will be a touchback. Cleveland will get the ball at the 25-yard line with 4:09 to go. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, Coach Cower. All the latest NFL scores and highlights, as well as a preview of Thursday Night Football on the NFL Network. It's all coming up in the Verizon Halftime Report. We told you earlier, Cody Kessler is being evaluated for a concussion in the Cleveland locker room. So Kevin Hogan, the backup quarterback, is in there for the Browns.
Still without a pass today as well.
In his career, he's not attempted a pass. Duke Johnson behind Kevin Hogan. And Johnson gets the call up the middle to the 30-yard line. This has been the theme for the Browns this year. Quarterbacks getting injured. RG3 injured his shoulder in week 1. Josh McCown still not clear to come back after a collarbone injury against the Ravens. Kessler, this is the shot we referenced earlier, his ribs against the Patriots. Charlie Whitehurst had to come in. He injured his knee, and then the Browns got rid of him. And today it's Kessler who is being evaluated for a concussion. There is Josh McCown, who's missing his 5th straight game. Hogan looking to attempt his first NFL pass, and he completes it to Barnidge for a first down at the 42-yard line. A gain of 13 for Kevin Hogan in Cleveland.
Very nice job by Kevin Hogan, buying some time in the pocket, stepping up and delivering a strike. And on that note, you talk about the quarterback issues. Joe Thomas is in his 10th year, the Pro Bowler, future Hall of Famer. He has protected 20 quarterbacks over the course of his career. There's no organization that's been through the quarterback struggles the Cleveland Browns have.
And now Hogan is number 21. Hogan in trouble, throws it, and it's caught. Somehow Gary Barnidge is able to bring that one in as Kevin Hogan was able to stay on his feet.
Okay, so Kevin Hogan went to Stanford last year. He's a 5th-round draft pick from Kansas City. He was in training camp with the Chiefs all through August and July and August, and ends up taking snaps here in Cleveland, the 5th guy to do so.
That was a heck of a play.
And
that was an unbelievable throw.
I mean, how deep, how much is his head swimming right now?
Cincinnati calls a timeout with 2:11 to go in the second quarter. Well, we asked Hugh Jackson about Kevin Hogan last night because the Browns have been through so many quarterbacks. We needed to get something on the backup just in case, and here he is. And what Hugh Jackson told us is that you can't underestimate the relationship that Hogan has with Pep Hamilton, who's the assistant head coach and in charge of the offense, the de facto offensive coordinator, even though Hugh Jackson calls the plays. They had a year together at Stanford before Pep Hamilton went to the Colts, so there is some familiarity between Pep Hamilton and Kevin Hogan.
And that's how it works in this business. As you guys know, it just takes one person to fall in love with you, so to speak, or to have a strong sense of you being able to get the job done. Pep Hamilton undoubtedly is that guy for Kevin Hogan.
2 timeouts left for each team in the first half.
So go. Yeah, easy, easy, easy. Hey, Jones playing corner. What? Liz playing corner. Liz. Hurry, hurry. So go.
Hogan looking to the air again. Now flushed out by Atkins. Hogan on the run just throws it away. It was Geno Atkins who forced Kevin Hogan out of the pocket with 2:03 to go.
Well, it doesn't take long for the Bengals to figure this out. They pack the box with 8 guys. They've got their daring Hogan to throw this football, and Hogan just can't get it done. I mean, if you're going to put 8 guys in the box, the Browns are now going max protection to give him all kinds of help back there. But they've only got a couple of guys in the route, and if those guys don't come open, Hogan's got to throw it away. You can look for the Bengals. Now the Browns are countering it now by going 4 wide, forcing them to spread it out.
2nd and 10. Pressure coming. Hogan is crunched. Pass is batted down and incomplete. And Hogan took a shot.
Well, I'm going to tell you, the Browns are going to go through another quarterback. Kevin Hogan doesn't know what to do when this blitz comes. He's lucky to get back up on his feet.
2-minute warning. Kevin Hogan got crunched on that last play by Sean Williams and Michael Johnson. He's been under pressure since entering for Cody Kessler, who's being evaluated for a concussion. 3rd down and 10 for the Browns. 3 for 5 on 3rd downs today. Hogan steps up. He's already shown off his legs in this half, and he's going to be tackled 2 yards short of a first down. Carlos Dansby makes the tackle, and decision time for Hugh Jackson.
Yeah, he's going to leave. It looks like he's going to leave the offense on the field, or maybe switch it late and decide to punt it very late. They've got guys huddled around Hugh Jackson. Now it looks like he's calling a play.
Yeah, it's a 56-yard kick if they want to go for a field goal.
And I think with 1:28 and counting, they may let this go all the way down to the end of the play clock and just take the delay of game so that they don't give Andy Dalton and the Bengals time. They're just going to take a delay of game here. That's a smart move. And it's a point where you got to think, why didn't Marvin Lewis take a timeout?
Yeah, you know what? That's exactly what.
That's a big miss by the Bengals in a game they're dominating offensively.
5-yard penalty. It's 4th down.
I think this is a game where Marvin Lewis has got to think his offense is playing pretty darn well. I'd love to hit the ball back, and they missed an opportunity there to get a timeout and save them maybe 3 plays or an extra first down, a chance to get a field goal coming back the other way before halftime.
So the Bengals will have 2 timeouts as they are set to get the ball back, with Colquitt punting away to Alex Erickson, who's awaiting the punt at his own 8-yard line. High end-over-end kick. Erickson calls for a fair catch at the 14-yard line with 1:03 to go until half. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, Coach Cower. They'll have all the latest NFL scores and highlights. Also a preview of the Thursday night game between the Jaguars and Titans, which you can see on the NFL Network. It's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Total yards since that first quarter have been in favor of Cleveland. But the Browns trail 14-10. Cleveland has trailed 64% of the time this year in its games, the most in the NFL. Dalton out of the shotgun, hands it off to Bernard. Does not appear like Marvin Lewis wants to push it with 2 timeouts and a minute to go.
Yeah, and you see, we got on Marvin Lewis about not taking the timeout to save that time. I think what he wanted to do was save the timeout so we would have him to use now.
Exactly.
But then you come out and put it on the ground and run it for 3 yards. That, to me, that doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I think he's probably thinking they're probably going to pin us back in our own end of the field. You know, if we get a return or if we can pop a run, I would have liked to see him throw a screen pass or something like that to maybe see if they can pop a big yardage play and get into where they have a possibility of getting points.
Yeah, the trade was a 40-second play clock or 1 timeout, and he chose the 40 seconds and kept the timeout.
Cleveland called timeout there. They have 1 left. Back on the ground to Bernard, who's wrapped up at the 26. So boos here from the fans.
Yeah, they can go now.
Stadium.
They can go now.
And now Cincinnati has called timeout with 45 seconds to go. They have 1 remaining.
Now, Hugh Jackson called that timeout to make sure that if the Bengals are just going to run it up the middle, they were going to keep the ball. They were going to get the ball back. See, that Hugh Jackson, I think, was on top of that.
Yeah, he did not expect Cincinnati to be able to pick up 6 yards or 7 yards on a run second down play right there, though. He was hoping to get the ball back with good field position. But now the Bengals are kind of more in attack mode because now they've got another set of downs.
First down and 10. A.J. Green at the top of your screen. Dalton time completes it over the middle to Tyler Eifert. And that is his first catch of the season. Big hand from the fans here at Paul Brown Stadium.
Now they go hurry up. Looks like they're going to try and run a play, not spike it on a 2nd and short.
And LaFell at the bottom of your screen was signaling I've got single coverage with Taylor. Dalton looks the other way, completes it along the sideline to A.J. Green out of bounds at midfield. That is the 5th catch today for Green. And there's 20 seconds remaining.
If they're going to continue to cover A.J. Green with a single defensive back, that is exactly where Andy Dalton should go every single time.
Now they need 15 yards, 14 yards, about to get to the 35-yard line, make it a 52, 53-yard kick. And
they can use the middle of the field because they do have 1 timeout left still as well. So
that was the first catch for Green in the last 18 plays for the Bengals. Good protection. Now Dalton in a little bit of trouble and he goes down. Sacked on the play by Emmanuel Ogbah, the rookie out of Oklahoma State, with his second sack of the season.
And Andy Dalton is too experienced to take this sack right. It's the one thing you can't do. He had plenty of time to step up and get rid of that ball one way or another. There was not quick pressure on him. He cannot take a sack in that situation. Throw the ball away, save the last time out that you have, and give yourself a chance to make a play over the middle and get yourself in field goal range.
They did have to call timeout. That's the final timeout for the Bengals.
Yeah, that sack is huge for the Browns. Huge.
Now the Bengals have to work the ball to the sideline. They don't have enough time to get it over the middle and get up on the ball and spike it.
Yeah, the sidelines and deep down the sidelines as well.
Dalton to the sideline, completes it to Bernard, out of bounds with 7 seconds left. If he could have kept his feet, he could have picked up another 5-7 yards.
That is inexcusable right there. Gio Bernard has got to stop short of the sideline, and Andy Dalton's got to stop him with the ball short of the sideline. You're right, Andrew. If he catches this ball, look at that. He goes down the sideline. There's nobody within 15 yards of him. He's going to get it in the field goal range right there. That's Pop Warner football right there. Those two pros need to find a way to keep that ball inbounds, let him run down the sideline.
3rd down and 9. So the options here, they toss one in the end zone or a quick out route to try to get in field goal range. Looks like they're going to go deep. Dalton to the end zone, down the field, and it is deflected and caught! Touchdown! A.J. Green! Prayer answered for the Bengals!
Okay. Forget about all that strategy, the timeout use, the clock management. You know what? Just throw it up to A.J. Green. Forget all of that stuff. What a play. Look at this bundle of guys, and A.J. Green just staying alive. Once that ball's tipped, those guys can pull him down, grab him, keep him away. 3 Browns.
And they're trying to.
There's 4 or 5 Browns, 3 Bengals. A.J. Green pulls it down.
That's incredible concentration. 3 guys hanging on him, and he still manages to keep his eye on that ball, keep his poise, and pull it in.
Kind of sums up the way things have gone for the Cleveland Browns this year. They played a very competitive half, but with the A.J. Green touchdown and the extra point by Mike Nugent, they go into the locker room trailing 21-10. A.J. Green over 100 yards in the first half. 6 catches for 106, his 3rd 100-yard game of the year. That's the end of the first half. The Bengals lead the Browns 21-10. Halftime in Cincinnati, and the Bengals lead the Browns 21-10. Back in the booth with Steve Berlon and Steve Tasker. I'm Andrew Catalon. Double whammy for the Browns at the end of that half. Not only do they lose Cody Kessler to a concussion, he will not return in the second half, but then the Hail Mary from Andy Dalton to A.J. Green. More bad luck for the Cleveland Browns.
Well, it's tough to be a Browns fan, I'm sure, right now. With the way things seem to fall in place for this team, you don't ever want to complain and whine and think you're snake bitten. But if there ever is an organization that was, it's the Browns right now. They played a good first half of football, but they're still down 11 points because of a fluky Hail Mary at the end of the half.
All right, but one issue is you got to look back, and the whole story that the league looks at and watches the Cleveland Browns, their quarterback situation. RG3 got hurt outside the pocket. So did Charlie Whitehurst. But you look at Josh McCown, you look at Kessler, and now Hogan. Those guys are taking some massive shots standing right in the pocket. That's got to stop.
Let's go back to that Hail Mary play from Andy Dalton to A.J. Green. It's featured in our Who Are You Lovin', presented by McDonald's. Off the deflection, A.J. Green with the touchdown catch. And it is 21-10 in favor of the Bengals at the half as they try to get to 3-4 on the year. Browns still winless at 0-6. Andy Dalton in the first half, 15 of 20 for 232 yards and the 2 touchdown passes. The other one was to Brandon LaFell. Browns do get the ball to start here in the third quarter. They'll begin at the 25-yard line, and it will be with Kevin Hogan under center. Cody Kessler out for the rest of the game with a concussion. As we take a look at the first half numbers, and you see 306 yards of offense for Cincinnati. Cleveland gives up the 4th most yards on defense per game in the NFL, averaging over 400, and Cincinnati well on its way.
Yeah, this is a game where Cincinnati got off to a pretty good start. Their opening drive was really impressive. Then they stalled, and then, of course, they got the miracle play to end the half. Makes it look pretty good for them.
Crowell, the running back, on 1st and 10. And he takes the handoff, trying the left side. And Crowell gets maybe a yard. In the first half, Crowell had 7 carries for 45 yards.
Yeah, you got to feel like if you're the Browns, you go in at halftime, and their game plan has not been bad. Although now you got to wonder how much Kevin Hogan has on his plate as the quarterback. They're going to have to strip back the play menu and make sure they give him things he's very comfortable with. And how long that menu is how successful they're going to be.
Quick pass to Andrew Hawkins, the former Bengal, is taken down by George Iloka. As we take a look at Kevin Hogan's day, and got it going early in the Wildcat on the ground. In that first half, Hogan had 4 carries for 44 yards.
Unfortunately, if Wildcat is the big thing on his menu, they can't run that now. They cannot lose Kevin Hogan. I mean, Terrell Pryor,
that's all you got.
As your emergency quarterback, they got to take all that Wildcat stuff off the table because Kevin Hogan's too valuable all of a sudden to run the Wildcat.
3rd down and 5.
Lucky!
Cleveland 3 for 6 on 3rd downs in the first half. Hogan fires sideline, caught by Pryor, and we'll see where they spot him. It's going to be very close to a first down. It was Kirkpatrick on the coverage.
They're giving him the first down.
They are giving him the first.
But I don't even know if you can call it a Wildcat with Kevin Hogan at quarterback, because he is a quarterback himself. So, but it's a substitute package right there. He does a nice job of delivering a strike on the outside to pick up the first down to Terrell Pryor.
First and 10, play action. Hogan on the move. In trouble, steps up, throws, and completes it to Barnidge, who is crushed. And that is Vontaze Burfict with the big hit on Browns tight end Gary Barnidge.
Well, Barnidge is going to catch this. He's going to thanks, but I'd rather not next time. He throws this, and look what happens. He turns upfield, and yeah, Burfict is up right there waiting on him.
Well, the other thing on that play too, Kevin Hogan, he pulls up like that and comes back inside. If he does that, he's not going to survive this game, because at this level, there is always somebody big and mean and fast coming behind you.
That time it was Carlos Dunlap, who Hogan was just able to elude the tackle. Crowell to the 45, into Cincinnati territory, and a Cleveland Browns first down. Isaiah Crowell has done some good running today for the Browns. He only had 16 yards rushing last week, but he's got 59 today on the ground.
Well, you see the dilemma right there that the Bengals are in when the quarterback is reading the defensive end. That was Michael Johnson. He freezes for a second. Kevin Hogan gives the ball to the running back up the gut. If Michael Johnson comes up the field, it's a whole different ball game.
Crowell again. And he gets inside the 45-yard line. Isaiah Crowell the last couple games has been slowed down by opposing defenses. We talked about it earlier. Hugh Jackson told us that teams were stacking the box, forcing Kessler to beat them, and it had a big effect on Crowell, who averaged less than 2 yards per carry over his last 2 games. But he's got it going today as this pass is complete to Hawkins. And Hawkins still on his feet inside the 30. Andrew Hawkins down to the 29-yard line. Will Clark finally made the tackle, but not before a gain of 15.
One of the things they're doing now is getting the ball right out of Hogan's hands fast, which is a smart thing to do. Also in that running game, it's obvious they are still running that stuff that we've been calling it Wildcat, the quarterback option stuff, but it looks as though they told him, make sure if there's a doubt, give it to the back. And on that play, getting it to Hawkins and getting it out of Hogan's hands, that's exactly what the Browns have got to do right now.
Balanced drive for Cleveland. 3 on the ground, 4 through the air. 8th play of the drive. Hogan doesn't see anybody, steps up, has some room to run. Inside the 20, still on his feet. Cuts back. Kevin Hogan dives. And he's in. Touchdown. What a run by Kevin Hogan. His first NFL touchdown.
Well, he might spike it. He might run off and get that football, so he's got it for posterity. Adam Jones has stayed down after that. He can't believe they just gave up a touchdown run to that guy.
This is the 5th quarterback that the Browns have played this year. And they're saying, how in the world can we let this rookie run right through us like we're not even there? It's got to be an absolutely complete head scratcher for the Cincinnati Bengals defense. But what can you say about Kevin Hogan? I take it back. He is a runner.
Well, I got to tell
you,
you got to tip your hat to the coaching staff of the Browns too, giving him a playlist that's going to be productive. That's a great job by Hugh Jackson.
Parkey's extra point is good. Last year, Hogan and Stanford beat Cody Kessler and USC in the Pac-12 championship game. Hogan getting it done for the Browns here today. Tomorrow, TV's #1 new comedy now starts a half hour earlier. Don't miss special guest Ray Romano when he visits Kevin Can Wait. Tomorrow, 8/7 Central only, CBS. So Kevin Hogan running the Browns offense with the touchdown run. He has 5 carries for 72 yards. And this will be a touchback. Cincinnati will start at the 25 when we come back. The lead is down to 4.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Charles Schwab. And by Toyota. Let's go places.
Screening saves lives in the NFL and the American Cancer Society encourage everyone to join in the fight against breast cancer. Learn more about a Crucial Catch Day, which is this Tuesday, October 25th, and find out how you can help make a crucial catch at NFL.com/pink. 1st and 10 for the Bengals, 10:43 to go, 3rd quarter. Jeremy Hill only had 3 carries in the first half. They were all in the first quarter, and Emmanuel Agba was able to stop him on his 4th carry of the game.
Well, it's good to see Jeremy Hill out there. We talked about it a little bit in the first half, worried about that left shoulder. For him to come out in the second half and play is very encouraging. They need a little bit of depth at that running back position. That's one of the things that's always been a strength with these current Cincinnati Bengals.
Hill picked up 1. Eric Winston at right tackle in favor of Cedric Ogbuehi.
18. Hands up.
On 2nd down and 9. It is Hill again. Has some room on the right side. Jeremy Hill breaks free. It's a foot race to the end zone. Hill at the 20. Hill takes it in. Touchdown. 74 yards. 4th rushing touchdown this season by Jeremy Hill, and the Bengals answer right back.
You're going to see the shift come over, and then it's not all. Watch as these 2 guys pull after the play snap. They're going to pull and come around and lead out perfectly executed run game as they lead Hill right around the end. Everybody gets a hat on a hat, and it takes so long for the safety to get up there, it's too late. What a great run design by the Bengals.
Nugent for the extra point. Since 2014, no running back has more rushing touchdowns than Jeremy Hill. That's his 24th. It had been 22 games since December of 2014 against the Steelers since Jeremy Hill rushed for over 100 yards. He's got 132 today after the big 74-yard touchdown run. Bengals had not had a 100-yard rusher since week 2 of last year when Bernard went for against the San Diego Chargers. Let's go back to the touchdown run by Jeremy Hill.
Well, when you look at it, before the snap, or we're after the shift now already, but you see all the people that the Bengals have over here on the right side. There really is no excuse for the adjustment not to be made by the Cleveland Browns. You see the motion away with LaFell to the backside, and then once Jeremy Hill makes that break up the field, the safety is the last line of defense. You saw the bad angle being taken by the safety. That's where the mistake really was made. That should have been about an 8 to 10 yard run. Bad angle allows a big touchdown.
Hogan on first down, incomplete, looking for the fullback, Malcolm Johnson. And we mentioned it right at the beginning of that snap before the touchdown run that Eric Winston was in at right tackle. Marvin Lewis said he wanted to have Cedric Ogbuehi, his starting right tackle, watch a little bit today. Benched him last week for a while against the Patriots. Thought he needed to take a deep breath. Well, he got a great view from the sideline of that big run by Jeremy Hill.
And the other thing that was exploited on that play was the youthfulness in the defensive secondary for the Cleveland Browns.
Second down. Hogan keeps it himself with room to run again. Kevin Hogan, another Browns first down. A gain of 16 for Kevin Hogan, who's moving closer to going over 100 yards rushing. He's got 88 on the ground.
If I'm Marvin Lewis, I'm telling the defensive end every single time at this point, because Kevin Hogan is the one that's killing you. Get up the field and hit him. You're assigned to him every single time. We're going to discourage him from running the ball.
Hogan time over the middle, juggled and caught by Crowell.
Yeah, that's what they've got to do. You can't let that quarterback run and beat you. If he's going to make a ball fake, make sure the official thinks you think he's got the ball. You got to whack him, and that'll take him right out of that part of their offense pretty quickly.
And if Hugh Jackson sees that, he knows he's got no other quarterbacks like other than Terrell Pryor. He's not going to be so prone to calling that play.
Second down and 7. Hogan is sacked. Sean Williams with the sack for the Bengals. It brings up third down and long.
Yeah, Barnidge couldn't get off the line of scrimmage quickly enough to make that block.
Well, he's a pass-catching tight end.
He tried to peel back. He just couldn't get his eyes out back fast enough. That's a great blitz by Williams to get in there that quickly.
Browns have a new center. Cameron Irving is out with an illness. He's doubtful to return, so John Greco, who has taken snaps at center before, is snapping right now to Kevin Hogan on 3rd and 12. Hogan, incomplete. Duke Johnson didn't appear ready to catch that one. A miscommunication between Hogan and Johnson, and here comes the punter, Britton Colquitt. Hogan now 7 of 11 for 56 yards through the air and 6 carries for 88 yards on the ground. Alex Erickson back deep to receive the punt from Colquitt. This will be his 3rd of the game. Erickson bobbles it. Picks it back up, and he is hit at the 15-yard line. Alex Erickson, undrafted out of Wisconsin, nearly a big special teams miscue.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM. And by National Mortgage Lender Quicken Loans. Home buy, refi, power.
Back in Cincinnati, where Leah Still is on the big scoreboard here and getting a standing ovation from the Bengals fans. Pretty neat scene here at Paul Brown Stadium. There she is. Community has meant so much to her and vice versa. 7:35 to go. Dalton taking a deep shot on first down the sideline. One-handed catch. A.J. Green. Have a day, A.J.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's
Odell Beckham, I'm going to show you a one-handed catch.
Yeah, that's the analysis I was going to come up with, too. Like, really?
Unbelievable.
I mean, Look at
It's good coverage, too.
Brian Body Calhoun's not out of position. He's got that thing covered up.
Pretty good throw by Andy Dalton.
Jeremy Hill on first down. Up the middle as we go back to the catch, his 7th. And Green now with 154 yards receiving.
So he has the one-handed Hail Mary grab off the double tip before halftime, and then here in the third quarter he comes up with that. Well, that's why he leads the league in receptions.
Came into the day 3rd in receiving yards as well, only behind Julio Jones and Greg Olsen, but gaining steam quickly with 154 through the air. Hill, room on the left side. Hill pushes forward, and that is good for a Cincinnati first down at the 25-yard line. Week 7 continues later today on CBS, and for some of you on Fox, and then tonight with Sunday Night Football on NBC, and tune in tomorrow for Monday Night Football on ESPN. Jeremy Hill has come to life here in the second half. Now 143 yards rushing for Hill. His career high is 154. Dalton looking end zone. Incomplete. James Wright, the intended target. Andy Dalton 16 to 22 for 280 yards. Took a hit here from Carl Nassib.
I don't know why these teams do this so often. They'll put a tight end blocking a defensive end pass rusher. That was Tyler Croft right there. You're getting your quarterback blindsided with a full head of steam from a defensive lineman. Andy Dalton's too valuable. He can't take shots like that.
Last 18 plays for the Bengals. They have 299 yards of offense and 3 touchdowns. 2nd and 10. It's Bernard to the outside and pushed out at the 22-yard line.
This is the exact same play they just broke off for a 70-yard touchdown a few minutes ago, and they run it to the other side. You see, they do the shift. They're going to have these two guys come over and try and kick it out to the far side and just run the same play that they broke the big one on the other direction. And this time, the Browns cover it up. Kirksey comes over and makes a nice solid tackle. That's what the Browns will say we should have done on the big touchdown.
Tyler Eifert is lined up in the slot, 2nd from the top. He only has 1 catch today for 9 yards. It's 3rd down and 6. Dalton gets rid of it. It's complete, but Boyd is tagged down at the 18-yard line. He's short of a first down, and Mike Nugent will come out to attempt a field goal. So the Cleveland defense able to hold Cincinnati to a field goal attempt.
And this is part of the chronic problem we talked about coming into the game, where Cincinnati just can't get inside the 20 and continue to move the football. Got it down there. Of course, the big play helped from A.J. Green, but this has been all too common for the Bengals for their liking.
19% of their drives this year end in field goal, 5th highest in the NFL. Highlights their red zone struggles as Nugent connects from 36 yards. And with 4:19 to go, the lead is now 31-17. Last Bengals drive covered 7 plays and 66 yards. Mike Nugent with the field goal as Cincinnati tries to defeat Cleveland for the 4th consecutive game. This is the 86th meeting in the Battle of Ohio. Nugent kicks it away. Atkinson and Lewis back deep, and Atkinson will take a knee. Cleveland will start at the 25. This is the game that gets so heated they play on neutral turf. Antonio Callaway and the Gators go up with Nick Chubb and the Bulldogs on the SEC on CBS. Festivities begin with the CBS College Football Special and College Football Today. John Greco remains at center as Cameron Irving is doubtful to return due to illness. Kevin Hogan at quarterback. If you're just joining us, Cody Kessler ruled out with a concussion. Hogan pump fakes. Now on the move, in trouble, hit as he throws, and it's incomplete. But it was Carlos Dunlap, whose 10.5 QB knockdowns are tied for 6th in the NFL.
Yeah, Hogan does a nice job buying some time, tries to get a look down the field, but this is a thing, and that right there is, you know, Browns fans have seen that all too often. This is a point where you got a new quarterback. None of the receivers know exactly what to do when he breaks contain. What's he want them to do? And that's something, you know, you just don't know until you play with the guy.
2nd and 10. Browns on the ground. It'll be 3rd and long. But first, we go back to New York. An NFL Today update. JB and Tony Gonzalez.
Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, he's getting it done on both ends of the field. He's got a rushing touchdown, and now he's got a touchdown pass. This one goes to Marquise Goodwin for 67 yards. 17-6. Buffalo is up over Miami.
Buffalo looking for 5 in a row. Let's take it back to Andrew.
And you saw Tyrod Taylor on the NFL Today with Steve Tasker earlier today on CBS. 3rd down and 8 for the Browns. 3:35 to go, 3rd quarter. Hogan steps up over the middle. Intercepted! Picked off by Sean Williams. Lost the football, and Austin Pastor falls on it.
And that'll be a 1st down.
Unbelievable.
Wow, after all of that, an overthrow by Hogan on a 3rd and 9. It ends up being 1st and 10 from the exact same spot for the Browns. He just overthrows, he airmails Barnidge, throws it right into the waiting arms of Williams, and then smartly gets stripped by Ricardo Lewis.
That's just careless with the ball there, too.
And Austin
Williams.
Pastor grabs it.
So a huge break for the Cleveland Browns. They get a fresh set of downs with 3:19 to go in the 3rd quarter. Crowell to the 30-yard line. Crowell with 11 carries today for 66 yards.
Yeah, and for the Browns, that's what they've got to do. They've got to manage to keep the football in their position, grind out a way to find a way to get 1st downs, and their running game still has to carry this offense. Kevin Hogan's running to the last little bit of his menu of plays, and they're going to start repeating plays, and then it's going to get ugly for them because the Bengals are going to catch on.
And Terrell Pryor, who was questionable with a hamstring injury, has pretty much been a non-factor today. Just 2 catches for 18 yards. Hogan gets rid of it quickly. It's caught by Duke Johnson. And Dre Kirkpatrick and Vontaze Burfict combine on the tackle. A little extra talking after that play.
Well, as you said, Steve Tasker, the menu of plays that you've got available to a guy like Kevin Hogan, a rookie who's only been here a few weeks, who is pressed into action, not getting reps during the week. It's very small. And what was effective earlier for Hugh Jackson was the quick bubble screens and the bootleg type of plays where he only has 1 or 2 guys to think about, get that ball out of his hand quick. If he's dropping back, having to read a defense, that's asking an awful lot of a young quarterback.
Cleveland is 4 for 9 on 3rd downs, 1 on the play clock, and the flags come in.
Vontaze Burfict, he tried to time it up because he thought there was 0 time on the play clock, but if he comes over before the play clock expires, it's offsides. I think you got to go offsides on that.
Yeah, I think he cost his team there. I think it's going to be an offsides.
Before there was any action or movement on the line of scrimmage, there was delay of game by the offense.
There you go.
He was right.
5-yard penalty. It's 3rd down.
You got to wait. You got to wait until it's double zeros before you get the penalty. And right here. Oh, I don't know. I would challenge. I don't know if that's even challenging. Like, I got to be honest with you. I think you might catch that guy in the neutral zone before the clock's expired.
Well, that's not a judgment call.
That's a bad call by the official. It cost the Browns 5 yards.
So following the penalty, it's 3rd and 11. Hogan steps up, throws over the middle, broken up and incomplete. Burfict had a hand in that one, and out comes the punter, Britton Colquitt.
No, I think you're right, though, Steve Tasker. I think that could have been challenged because the clock clearly showed the zeros, but it was after Burfict, I think, had already broken that line of scrimmage.
1:38 to go, third quarter. This is the fourth punt for Britton Colquitt. And a fair catch was called by Adam Jones. There is a flag down.
Yeah, I think it's going to be inconsequential. 5-yard running into the kicker.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker.
Wow.
Defense. There was contact with the plant leg. By rule, that's roughing.
Wow,
15
that's
yards,
a huge
first
call.
down.
That's enormous, and I'll tell you what, this is one of those times when it's by the rule, that's probably right, but you look at what happened on this play. Watch as Colquitt just gets brushed. And that right there is a 15-yard penalty. And that's one where I don't know, I don't agree with. And Colquitt did go down. He didn't have a chance to come down on that leg, but that's why you got to miss that guy.
Yeah, it was the plant leg, his left leg. They're saying, Ed Hockley is saying that if there's any contact with that plant leg, no matter how violent, it's by rule a personal foul.
Yeah.
And it looked like there was contact with that leg. It might have just brushed it, but.
Yeah, Deron Smith came in trying to block that and just couldn't miss that plant leg.
Huge break again for the Browns. First and 10 from the 41. Crowell tripped up in the backfield. Michael Johnson closed quickly for the Bengals on defense.
Yeah, we've been talking about this all the time. This is one where Kevin Hogan probably would have kept this watch right there. And that was open to the outside. They had it blocked up on the outside, and Hogan, for some reason, decided to hang on to it, maybe because of his personal health, maybe because he's been instructed not to run the football anymore. But that's been a big weapon for them. If they take that away voluntarily, I think it's a big loss for the Browns, their offensive menu.
Final minute of the third quarter. Hogan in trouble, and he's sacked. Carlos Dunlap, sack number 5 this year.
Well, this is just speed around the edge. He's going up against Cedric Ogbuehi. We talked about how Marvin Lewis told us. Right here's Ogbuehi. Nothing fancy. That's just Dunlap running right by him.
It was actually Sean Coleman who was in for the Browns on right tackle that play.
Well, he's a rookie out of Auburn, 3rd-round draft pick. And you know he hasn't gotten very many reps against anybody who can rush like Carlos Dunlap.
It's 3rd and a mile for Cleveland. And they're just going to hand it off to Duke Johnson. And he is tackled from behind, well short of a first. It'll be 4th and long when we come back. That's the end of the third quarter. And the Bengals lead 31-17. Start of the fourth quarter at Paul Brown Stadium. The Bengals lead the Browns 31-17. The Cleveland Browns have lost 9 straight games going back to last year. Trying to avoid an 0-7 start here in 2016 under Hugh Jackson. They'll have to come from behind here in the fourth, and the Bengals are about to get the ball back with Erickson set to return the punt from Colquitt. Erickson moving to his right. This one's going to go out of bounds. Oh, now Erickson fields it before it goes out. And a flag is down. Erickson also down inside the 10. Good coverage downfield by the Browns on special teams as we await the penalty call. A 54-yard punt by Colquitt and no return, as Ed Hockley discusses with his crew.
During the punt, personal foul by the receiving team number 86 was blocking a member of the kicking team out of bounds during the play. That's a 15-yard penalty. Will enforce half the distance to the goal. First down.
Goes against James Wright, the 3rd-year wide receiver out of LSU.
Right here's the penalty. Once he goes out of bounds, you can't give to block him. You got to give him a chance to come back in, and that's an easy penalty.
So that moves the ball back to the 4-yard line for the Cincinnati Bengals. Andy Dalton moving closer to a 300-yard game. He's already got 2 this year. So far today, 283 yards through the air. Jeremy Hill is the running back on 1st and 10. The give is to Hill. And it gives Cincinnati a little bit of breathing room. What a day it's been for the Bengals in terms of big plays against the Browns defense.
Well, they made him both in the pass game and the run game. Right there you see LaFell coming up with the touchdown off the double move and the Hail Mary to A.J. Green. Jeremy Hill plus a 70-plus yard touchdown right there, getting back in there. And then A.J. Green with the big one-handed grab over the top. Lots of big plays for the Bengals.
4 plays of more than 40 yards. Looking for more here. Can Hill bust one free? He's got a first down, and Christian Kirksey finally caught up with him. But a 20-yard run for Jeremy Hill, and he has a new career high in yards rushing with 168, but he appears to be shaken up after this last run.
Well, we've spoken about it all day. He came in with a bad shoulder. It's been in and out of the lineup the last couple of weeks, and this one, when he goes down, he right on that shoulder, and you can tell that's what did it.
It is the left shoulder, and we specifically asked him about it on Friday. He said, "Don't worry about me, I'm feeling great." Well, we saw his carries limited in the first half to just 3, and clearly in a lot of pain right here.
Yeah, he was favoring it in the first half. They probably went in and, at halftime and tried to eliminate the pain as best they could. And then you come out in the second half, you land right on it right there. That's not a good sign for the Bengals.
So Bernard at running back, and he gets the call on first down, trying to get to the edge, and he's not going to get there. Emmanuel Ogbah's had a real nice game for the Browns defensively, the 2nd-round pick out of Oklahoma State. 2-time Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. And what Hugh Jackson, as he tries to find some positives in this 0-6 start, is that because of all the injuries to the Browns, a lot of guys who may not have seen extended reps in this their 1st or 2nd year are seeing the field a lot, which, as Hugh Jackson said, you never want to see the injuries, but it should help Cleveland moving forward, getting so many rookies so much playing time.
Hey, our side.
Dalton, incomplete. Pressure was coming as he was trying to connect with Tyler Boyd.
Well, and as we've said many times today, this Cleveland Browns team's so young. I mean, there are 15 draft choices this year that just illustrate. I mean, there's a lot of learning that has to go on for these guys. And Hugh Jackson, never wavering, very confident he's going to get this thing going in the right direction. But it's going to take some time. These guys have to learn how to play at this level.
3rd down and 10. Dalton with pressure coming, gets rid of it. It's caught by Burkhead. His first catch of the day. And with that last lunge, he is very close to a first down. Jamar Taylor and Xavier Cooper combine on the tackle, and they're going to move the chains.
Yeah, that was a great job by Dalton staying alive, finding Burkhead. Burkhead does a nice job pulling this in. It's low and away from him, as Dalton has to get away from Kirksey, and the pressure's right there. And then he gets out in front of behind the big guys. One stiff arm, and that last little bit is what gives them the first down. That's an enormous, I think, conversion. Even when you're leading by 2 touchdowns, every one of those is critical. First
catch this season for Burkhead, just the 18th of his career. Now in his 4th season out of Nebraska.
That same counter action.
Dalton looking for A.J. Green. He's got him again into Cleveland territory. Out of bounds for a first down, a pickup of 15.
You could almost see the conversation between Dalton and A.J. Green. Watch A.J. Green get to the top of this. He's going to throw his arm out and look at that. He gives him a signal, and then just snaps it off. Dalton's looking right at him. You can see they're having a conversation without saying any words.
And you see the effect of this is the same exact look. You see the lineman pulling as those two counter plays that the Bengals have run earlier. They have a nice little bootleg action off of it. Very good design by Ken Zampese, offensive coordinator.
Green's been targeted 8 times. He's got 8 receptions. Bernard up the middle, and Demario Davis brings him down at the 44-yard line. But you could see that anytime A.J. Green's got single coverage, it's almost automatic with Andy Dalton going his way. As we look at the last 7 possessions, and Cincinnati has really heated up since late in the second quarter and here in the second half.
Yeah, so many times we talk about A.J. Green getting single coverage. You think, yeah, let's go deep. But you know what? A 15, 17-yard deep out route's a pretty good play as well, and it's much easier to complete.
Bernard remains the running back as Hill is walking around on the Cincinnati sideline. It is Gio Bernard. Going back to your point, Steve Tasker.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say, and I know you're getting back to it, when you get A.J. Green out there, you don't have to throw the football deep every single time you line up on single coverage.
And what Bill Belichick said last week is that usually with a big receiver like A.J. Green, they're very good at short routes and then coming back, or very deep routes. But what Belichick really praised A.J. Green about was the intermediate routes, his ability as a big receiver to run a 15-yard out like we just saw. Third down and 1.
Wait, what?
It's Burkhead, and he's still running forward for a first down. Tracy Howard finally catches up to him. Rex Burkhead moving the chains. A gain of 11.
The 4th-year player out of Nebraska relishing the opportunity to get to stick the ball up in there. Nice physical run. He's a finisher. Obviously driving those legs, getting down low, keeping those wheels churning. Very nice run. Back to A.J. Green, though. One thing that Ray Horton, defensive coordinator for Cleveland, said, believe it or not, he's one of the top 2 guys in the league, but I don't think he gets enough credit, or as much credit as he deserves, for how good that he is.
Pro Bowl every year of his career. It's 1st and 10. Bernard. Well, tomorrow on CBS, Matt LeBlanc returns to television in the new comedy Man with a Plan. Don't miss the premiere tomorrow after Kevin Can Wait, right here on CBS. This drive eating up some clock. Inside 9 minutes to go as the Bengals try to stop a 2-game losing streak and get back to 3-4 on the year.
George. Miami's up.
2nd down and 8. It's Bernard again, pushed back by Demario Davis. We've just learned that they're calling it a chest injury for Jeremy Hill, but his return is probable.
I don't know why you'd risk putting him back out on the field at this point. You're up 31-17. Your team is moving the football. He's had obvious discomfort today a few times.
He is up and walking on the Cincinnati sideline, but he'll be watching for this 3rd down and 5 play. Kevin Hogan's been on the bench for a while for Cleveland.
Miami's up.
Dalton doesn't see the pressure coming, and he's sacked again. And again, it's Emmanuel Ogbah. What a day for Ogbah.
When I believe this one, I might be right. It actually was Ogbuehi off the right side that is getting pushed back into Dalton. He's been struggling all year, been rotating with Winston a little bit today. Right there, just on roller skates, getting knocked back.
Yep. Ogbah has 5 tackles and 2 sacks. And Mike Nugent is out to attempt a 45-yard field goal. Drifting right, and it hits the upright, no good. So that's the 2nd missed field goal today by Mike Nugent. 7:12 to go in the 4th quarter. Browns still hanging in. They trail 31-17. Mike Nugent had missed 2 field goals the entire season, both from beyond 50 yards. Today, he's missed 2 field goals, both inside 45 yards. So With 7:12 to go in the fourth quarter. It's still a 31-17 game. The Browns have the ball back on offense. Duke Johnson on the carry, and he is spun down at the line of scrimmage. Your weekend starts on Thursday when the Jacksonville Jaguars tangle with the Tennessee Titans. You'll see it only on NFL Network. Well, you guys were talking about the menu of plays available to Hogan. How do they move the ball downfield, try to get some big chunk plays?
Well, that's the problem. Now, you're down 2 scores, and thank goodness it's not 3 due to the missed field goal by Nugent. But you got to get the ball down the field and make some plays. If you're just going to, Cincinnati will let you just try and grind it out, running the ball, give up 3 or 4 yards a pop. You got to find a way to make plays in the passing game, and you're just so limited right now with Kevin Hogan.
And that pass is incomplete. He was looking for Terrell Pryor, and it was Kirkpatrick on the coverage. That was a simple slant route, and now it'll be 3rd down and long.
I think one of the things you can tell about this Cleveland Brown offense, that guy right there is the guy that most teams believe can beat him. And the Bengals have done a great job keeping him out of the Browns offense. Now he's not 100%. He's been struggling with a hamstring a little bit this week, but the Bengals, knowing the struggles the Browns were having, were not going to let the best player beat them, and Terrell Pryor has been silent.
Just 2 catches for Pryor. Browns are 1 for 5 on 3rd downs this half. Hogan running right, chased by Clark, throws on the run, incomplete. 4th down and 9 with 6:17 to go, and Hugh Jackson will send out his punt team.
Yeah, Kevin Hogan broke contain and found out really quickly that Carlos Dunlap can outrun him, or that's not Dunlap.
Will Clark.
Will Clark can outrun him. There's a lot of guys that Kevin Hogan didn't see at Stanford that can run a lot faster than the guys he was running from in college.
So the Bengals had a drive of 7.5 minutes. They didn't get any points off the missed field goal, but Cleveland goes 3 and out, and they're going to put their defense right back out on the field after the fair catch by Erickson. 6:10 to go. Time is running out for the Cleveland Browns.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by T-Mobile. Switch to the network built for unlimited data. United States Air Force. Experience more at airforce.com. And by the all-new Chrysler Pacifica, imported from Detroit.
The great Paul Brown, who means so much to both of these teams. First head coach of the Browns, also founded the Cincinnati Bengals and was the head coach for 8 years with 3 trips to the playoffs. Bengals with 516 yards of offense, their most since 2007 against the Browns, and they keep it going on the ground with Gio Bernard across the 35 and all the way up to the 37-yard line, a gain of 9 for Bernard. And A.J. Green has just dominated this day for the Bengals. 8 catches, 169 yards and a touchdown. And Terrell Pryor, who was questionable, does have a hamstring injury, held to just 2 catches today.
Yeah, we said in the open that the Browns need Green to see red. They needed to frustrate A.J. Green and keep him off the stat sheet. They could not get it done. Of course, a couple of those plays were very low percentage, but a great player like A.J. Green made them anyway. And that's why the Bengals keep throwing it at him.
Bengals have done a great job this quarter of eating up the clock as we approach 5 minutes to go. Keep it on the ground with Bernard, who bounces it to the outside. Gio Bernard into Cleveland territory, and another first down.
Well, this is the exact same action we've been talking about. They motion the people over, and then they come backside with the seal with the wide receiver. They pull the guard and the tackle from the right side. It's a counter play that Cincinnati has had tremendous success with, especially this second half, and Cleveland has not had an answer.
Great job by Bernard to slide down inbounds. That forces Cleveland to call a timeout. 2 timeouts left for the Browns. 5:02 to go in the fourth quarter. Cincinnati leads 31-17. First down and 10 after the big run by Bernard. Play action. Dalton looking to go to the air. Throws toward the sideline, and it's incomplete. LaFell, the intended target. Thursday on CBS, The Big Bang Theory moves to its new night, leading a parade of premieres, starting with the new comedy The Great Indoors, followed by Mom, and Life in Pieces. It's comedy's big night, Thursday, only CBS. Cincinnati has 254 yards rushing today. Cleveland only averages giving up 118. This is the 12th most rushing yards by the Bengals in their history. And Bernard adds to it up to the 41-yard line. Danny Shelton makes the tackle.
Well, A.J. Green and Jeremy Hill have about the exact same stat line. A.J. Green, 8 receptions, 169 yards and a touchdown. Jeremy Hill, 9 rushes, 168 yards and a touchdown.
That's an average of 18 yards a carry for Jeremy Hill.
Or per reception for A.J. Green.
Works both ways. 3rd down and 5 for the Bengals. 4:20 to go. Dalton chased out and just flicks it incomplete. Clock stops, 4:04 to go. And Marvin Lewis will send out his punter, Kevin Huber.
They're perfectly happy to run some time off the clock, come off the field healthy, and punt the Browns deep into their own end.
Only one punt today for Kevin Huber. He's going to try to pin the Browns deep. Tramon Williams is back deep for Cleveland. Huber got too much on this one. Yes, he did. James Wright tried to save it, but instead it'll be a touchback in Cleveland football when we return.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx, helping small businesses simplify e-commerce. And by Subway. Try the new thick-cut autumn carb turkey sandwich.
Back in Cincinnati, and the Bengals trying to close out their 3rd victory of the year. They lead it 31-17. Browns down by 2 touchdowns, getting the ball back at their own 20-yard line. 2 timeouts remaining for Cleveland.
5-5, 5-5. Yeah, 5-5, watch.
Kevin Hogan is 8 of 17 for 57 yards passing. Throwing here, and it's caught by Rashard Higgins, who moves the ball up to the 37-yard line, a gain of 17.
Well, you need to see more of this for the Browns. Kevin Hogan showing he can deliver the ball. Got the right coverage, delivered a strike to Rashard Higgins.
2nd catch today for the rookie Higgins. Browns go no huddle. Hogan play action, in trouble, gets rid of it, and it's caught by Johnson. Kevin Hogan took a big hit from Geno Atkins. A little bit slow to get up, but he was able to complete the pass.
Yeah, in situations like this, Kevin Hogan, as he takes this hit and gets the 300-pounder landing on him, this is a spot where a guy like Hogan, if he does the right things, he can learn a lot of good football in the 4th quarter of a bad football game. This is really going to help him down the road experience being in a tough spot like this with an offense that he gets to run.
That pass is caught by Lewis, spins away from 1, stays inbounds, and tackled at the 46-yard line.
You think going forward for the Browns, don't know what Cody Kessler's status is, if he's healthy enough and gets through the concussion protocol. No doubt he'll be the starter next week. Josh McCown still hasn't been cleared to practice or play, so still changes ahead for this Browns team going forward at the quarterback spot.
On 3rd down, Hogan keeps it himself, has the 1st down, and still going. Takes a shot inside the 40, but he moves the chains. Well, Kevin Hogan is now over 100 yards rushing for the Browns. He's got 104 on the ground.
Well, we mentioned earlier that Kevin Hogan in this running, that's got to be the #1 focus. The Bengals haven't seen him run it in quite a while. Right there, going back to the well, it works again.
Hogan fires sideline, and it's incomplete. Only one Browns quarterback has rushed for more than Kevin Hogan has today, and that man, Johnny Manziel, last year rushed for 108 yards, so Hogan is 4 away from tying Manziel and 5 to break the Browns record.
And Steve Tasker, you mentioned earlier with Kessler, Cody Kessler earlier, earning the respect of his teammates for taking hits. Hogan is earning respect from his teammates the way he's competing and running that football, showing toughness that way.
2nd down and 10. Crowell drops it over the middle. And it will be 3rd down for Cleveland.
Yeah, Hogan just kind of threw that one a little bit hard, but nevertheless you need to catch it. But that's a young quarterback just wanting to get rid of it. A little nervous, wanting to get rid of it, and hurried the throw and put a little too much velocity on it for a 4-yard pass. That's one, you got to make those plays.
4-down territory for the Browns. 3rd and 10. They do have 2 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. Hogan fires, caught by Barnidge. And he's got a 1st down up to the 21.
Gary Barnidge with the Cleveland reception.
Can they get another playoff before the 2-minute warning? Does not look likely. And that will take us to the 2-minute warning. Bengals on top of the Browns by 2 touchdowns. Coming up next, Tom Brady and the Patriots lock up with Antonio Brown and the Pittsburgh Steelers. You'll see it right here on CBS Sports. 2 minutes to go. 2 timeouts remaining for the Cleveland Browns. They trail by 2 touchdowns. Remember, they did recover an onside kick last week against the Tennessee Titans. Hogan has time, and his pass is deflected and intercepted. Picked off by Vinny Ray. And that should do it. Second interception thrown by Kevin Hogan. Hugh Jackson celebrated his 51st birthday yesterday. Not a very day after that has gone well. Not a very happy day after for Jackson, as his team is about to fall to 0-7, which matches the 2nd worst start in franchise history, as Burkhead gets the call on 1st down. The Browns were also 0-7 in '99. 0-9 is their worst in 1975. And they're looking at the interception.
Yeah, you just see that Kevin Hogan was looking to his left, trying to hold the safeties, came back, and Carlos Dunlap, those long arms, got in the way. And Kevin Hogan says, what else could possibly
he did everything right.
Go wrong? He thought he had a nice shot at a big play, and Dunlap just got his hand in there.
Hugh Jackson elected not to call his final 2 timeouts, so Cincinnati will just run out the clock, go to 3 and 4. Bengals off to London next week as Burkhead runs it to the left side.
Yeah, I said, Hogan did everything right on the interception. He looked the safety off. You see so many young quarterbacks struggle with doing. Then he came back and didn't realize that, the pressure was in his face, and that's the worst kind of interception to throw for a quarterback. You think you've got to play, you release the ball, and it doesn't get there.
Bengals will take on Washington in London next Sunday, while the Browns go home to take on the New York Jets.
We talked a lot today about the youth of the Browns, and they do have some good young players that are coming up and doing some things very well. The problem is, when you have a young team, the thing that gets overlooked is that you're not ever going to be very deep. And the injuries that they've had to key spots, you get younger and less experienced as you get injuries if you're a young football team.
Burkhead, and that should be the final play of the game. Andy Dalton and the Bengals offense with 559 yards of offense, 271 on the ground. Bengals win 31-17. Stay tuned for game 2 of our doubleheader, the Patriots and the Steelers. For Steve Tasker, Steve Berline, Andrew Catalan saying so long here from Cincinnati. You've been watching the NFL on CBS. Coming up, the NFL Today update. Scores and highlights right after this.